If you come from where I stay, you may not be too proud to say, I survived an ugly adventure around a familiar neighborhood like Robin Hood. But this time not a jungle, but street full of kids with broken teeth, sliding down every corner of the road, wearing torn shorts with 2 holes, living our time everything was fine, and playing under the rain all day, pants or no pants was to us never a crime. If you come from where I stay, you might get used to a confused way that I media and all the tragic events you'd meet here in an environment full of smokers and drunks and probably catches the kids at the backyard, occasionally experimenting with paper smokes to satisfy a childish curiosity with early immorality. If you come from where I stay, you get used to 1 square meal. That is, if by any opportunity you manage to find a shape like square in an economy broken with fluctuations and currency depreciations to a point where a cup of garri is regarded an asset or suffer severe hunger till sunset. If you come from where I schooled, you come out of college educated, but indoctrinated into the same trend in society psychologically, finding no moral sense of direction and guide other than semesters of notes and assignments that in no way address the demand for a change in society. If you come from where I schooled, you'll be certified for your ignorance. If you come from where I stay and worship God, you'll be forced to lay helpless in the bosom of religious terrorism and seek grace to survive in a race that is different from yours. And so those of us who wish to make friends with Abubakar or trust Timothy for some reasons, it's the same sentiments of plain religion. If you come from where I stay, then you may have heard the story while growing up about 6 children, all girls, born to low-income coupled together in poverty, struggling every day with the miserable life of an unemployed mother and drunk as father. And 8 years down the line, with our very own eyes, we saw these sweet girls blindfolded out of college into a world of sexual abuse. Just anything needed to produce a penny for survival. If you come from where I stay, you see destinies wasted in Lugard. If you come from where I stay, you see open street littered with street kids, left to explore the emptiness of life inspired by addiction to substances, feeding from trash cans, humiliation, rejection, anxiety, loneliness, etc., with no acceptance into a good line of living. If you come from where I stay, we call them Skolumbo. If you come from where I stay, there's no need to exclaim, "Oh my God," when a girl child puts to birth at the age of 13. No need shouting about female genital mutilation, or when the statistics show a drastic increase in the rate of child abandonment, or even be shocked on the news of early marriages. If you come from where I stay, you see ladies exploited like beverages. If you come from where I stay, finally, you'll be familiar with the noise of sirens floating in traffic, lawmakers breaking their laws, and no matter how much you argue and try to make sense, showing all your documents and driver's license, you still be forced to pay your tithes to the prophet in black suit, or follow the other instruction. You're following us to the station. If you come from where I stay, if you really come from where I stay, then you must be a Nigerian. I wouldn't say I'm lost here, but honestly, I'm found missing. And like the song goes, everything just scatter. So my state has the largest penitentiary with strong rods and barbed wires. There are not many prison yards modified this way, with departments to confiscate every art and talent, skill and ambition, every dream, every dreamer. The propaganda to jail the potentials and force convicts to express themselves within the space of a cell room. In this prison yard you'd find super creative minds where every gold has been mined and left to become an empty pit. In this prison yard you'd find great writers who have written off their chances of a global audience and settled for the mediocrity of localized content. In this prison yard you'd find journalists freed from jail but their courage remains locked behind bars. In this prison yard you'd find artists and singers, celebrities, where them no see your value, but they don't see you finish. In this prison yard, you'd find painters carrying their canvases, canvassing for sales, because the product that sells better here is lies. And that is why they quarantined us here, so we don't affect the world till we die. But this truth we suffer is more viral than corona. We're prisoners in this dungeon, praying that one day God hears us, because only God knows our value, only God knows our worth. Sadly, our God is the white man. If you want to know what a visa feels like for a Nigerian youth, ask a rabbit that finds a hole out of a burning bush. Because when a young lad searches for scholarship, she's looking for a white man. When a talented dude innovates a software, he's looking for a white man. When a sportsman scouts for opportunity, he's looking for a white man. Talent hunts posters and auditions on every wall, promising you white men. I mean, it's so pathetic. I mean, it's so sad that you're what more than this. I mean, you know your value. You know your onions, but that's not good enough to give you breakfast. My state conducts the largest mass burial for prisoners that die in this dungeon, for great dreamers who died of hunger in their sleep. And so I read this tribute that it brings them back to life in loving memory. In loving memory of every great mind who died in the walls of confusion and buried in the graves of time. In loving memory of every leader and visionary I never heard of. In loving memory of every businessman who started with flying colors but fled to look for greener pastures. In loving memory of Arikbo the entrepreneur chased away by tagged dogs. In loving memory of the guitar singer who found a better instrument for fame. In loving memory of the funny comedian whom fate made a joke of. In loving memory of doctors in the bank, motivational speakers called by God for church work, and every genius of an engineer life screwed up. There are more dead men in the stadium than in the morgue. Oh, I remember the great sprinter who chased his age down the 100 meters track, zealous to reach the finish line. I remember how he bent on his marks, set, ready to fire, and then the gunshot that killed his dream. The tall basketballer who never got to the height. The shot puts guy who dives quicker than a fish caught in the nets of delusion. In loving memory of the taekwondo guy who figured out poverty doesn't need kung fu. In loving memory, the shot puts guy who needed a long hand to be picked. In loving memory of every basketballer and tennis player who found himself in the court but knew no lawyer to make it through. And so lost in this plague of confusion, not knowing where to go, we just have to keep moving somehow. We go de waka waka, we go de waka waka waka, we go de waka 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 waka. It's been an awesome time thrilling you. Once again, my name is Jim Adie, and it's been a nice time looking at this amazing art by Spectabliss.